Things have gone quiet for now, but what we've just heard is that very soon President Emmerson Mnangagwa will be addressing an urgent media briefing. We are making our way there. But for now, though, I do have the legal secretary for Zanu-PF, and that is Paul Mangwana. Mr. Mangwana, thank you very much for talking to us. Just Zanu-PF's reaction to what we saw earlier on the streets of Harare.
We condemn all forms of political violence. We had held peaceful elections. We expected the situation to continue like that. And we are urging our supporters to exercise maximum restraint, not to be provoked. The Electoral Commission is still to announce the results of the presidential election. We have done very well in the parliamentary elections, and we have no reason for being violent. But we are asking our members to exercise maximum restraint in the face of any form of provocation. We are also asking our colleagues in the opposition to know that an election is just a democratic process. It's not a question of life and death. They should accept the loss gracefully and not engage in any form of violence. Zimbabwe is for all of us. We want them to exercise restraint and be peaceful, even to accept any loss, and then hope to do better the next time.
Who or what do you think may have been responsible for the chaos that ensued this afternoon?
I think it starts with the leadership of the opposition. They've been preaching violence. They've been making claims outside the provisions of the law, and this actually incites people to be violent. We are asking them to provide real leadership. We are all here in Zimbabwe, and we should accept the democratic process. There will always be winners and losers. They should prepare better for the next time, rather than incite their supporters to engage in violence.
Are you as frustrated about the delays in the announcement of the results as they are?
No, they have no reason for being frustrated, because even when we wrote the Constitution, we were aware that when you are dealing with the presidential election, you have to collect figures from all the 19,000 plus polling stations and put the figures together. You do not want to make a mistake. So we know that Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is taking its time, because when they make an announcement, it must be credible and accurate, so that there are no disputes tomorrow.
Now, there are people are saying, but that said, or even though the opposition may well be frustrated, and even though there may be like the Electoral Commission systems may not be perhaps as advanced as they should be, maybe, just maybe, someone ought to have listened, in particular the Electoral Commission. Do you share that view?
But they cannot start announcing premature results. They must collect all the results from all over the country. Do not forget that the presidential election only has one constituency, which is the national constituency. You cannot start announcing results in bits and pieces. It may cause even more problems. So Zimbabweans must simply exercise patience and restraint. The results will be coming soon.
When do you expect the results to come? Or what are your... maybe let's start with when do you expect?
My expectations are that by end of tomorrow, we should have the results of the presidential election.
What are your party agents telling you?
Oh, well, the party agents are showing, indicating to us that we have won. President Mnangagwa won this election with very, very good margin. But I'm not at liberty to indicate the actual figures. But we are excited, we are happy. We know that with the two-thirds majority, we are controlling parliament, and we will deliver the presidency.
No appetite whatsoever for any government of national unity?
It's not necessary. We went into this election well knowing that the winner will take it all. It's not necessary for any coalition government. You know, a coalition government is a weak government. You want the winner. We've been given the mandate by the people to rule and deliver on the promises they made during the campaigns. So if we succeed, we expect the Zanu-PF to form the next government and they deliver on the election promises.
Before I let you go, going back to the issues I started with, people have criticized the army in particular for being a little heavy-handed in how they dealt with this afternoon's chaos.
I cannot comment on the reaction and response of the army, but certainly I'm sure that in terms of their assessment, if the situation demanded their intervention, they must have done so. I've just been driving around town. I've seen a lot of damage which has already occurred. It looks like the MDC supporters were actually throwing stones at buildings. There are lots of damaged buildings in town today. They started the violence, and unfortunately they got a response. Regrettably though, we expected this whole election, which had happened peacefully, to continue to be peaceful. But unfortunately, our colleagues are exercising a lot of impatience.
That's where we're going to leave it. Mr. Mangwana, thanks very much for talking to us this evening.
Thank you.
He is, of course, the legal secretary of Zanu-PF, but also the person responsible for running the party's machinery here at the Election Results Center. For now, I'm going to hand back to you, Tony, but I'll be back a little later on with the MDC's response to the events of this afternoon, but also an update on what the commission itself feels or thinks is going to happen next.